for them to breed in, and you only have late varieties, would they, start later and take longer to,
No,
No.
because they're building up on everything else
Okay.
all throughout the landscape. So no, they're just building whether you've got berries or not.
Do you
I
know
think
how far they fly from one to another? I mean, is it like, would they fly from a mile away or half a mile away?
Yeah,
or-
I don't know. I just
You
know
don't know
that
enough
I bet
yet.
you could set up a trap anywhere in the woods, anywhere, and you'd catch hundreds within a week, no matter where you set it up. I don't know that for sure, but it just seems like they're just everywhere. So somebody was saying that they were in, she has raspberries and strawberries, and she has collards, and she was just in her collard field, and they were landing all over her. There were spider-winged Drosophila just sort of hanging out in the cauliflower and the collard plants. Like, what the heck are they doing there? I don't know. So they are just sort of everywhere. Yeah.
I believe I heard you say if you pick them early, then pick them all, put them in 30-degree storage. Now, are you saying then that those would be ones you would sell already picked?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Does that kill the eggs?
It seems, I've heard that if you get down to like 33 or so, that you can kill the larvae that are in there.
So when you were saying, you're kind of concerned about the frozen berries that are picked from those thaw, is that gonna be a problem?
Well, if you make jam.
It's not that they're alive in there still, it's just, will people see? And the
But
way
if
they're
it's
doing
the
it
eggs
is,
and not the larvae.
no,
I mean,
no,
it's
the
a-
larvae would be there too. So the frozen berries that we buy are mechanically harvested, they go through once a week and just take everything. And so there could be, very mature larvae in those, in the berries, so that's what we're worried about.
But it may kill them, but freezing them might.
The
Like we
freezing
just
will
picked
kill
in
them,
our,
they'll be dead, but that doesn't, if you see the
Still
white
eating.
maggots in there, dead or alive, they're not very
Oh, okay,
appealing.
so they'll be dead or alive.
Right, yeah, they'll be
They're
dead.
still there.
They'll be
They're
dead,
still
they're
there.
still
They'll be
there.
evaporated.
They're dead or
Like
alive.
that.
Still getting
I was
protein.
trying to think, if they're dead, then how do you see them? But they could be dead bodies, okay.
Yeah, right,
Cadavers.
right.
Cadavers.
Right, not very pleasant.
Okay.
Where would you find the oxidate?
I would think wherever you could buy pesticides, or
Okay.
even looking on, you could probably order it online as well. And it is like peroxide, and maybe it's a little bit different, but, and it's used, the greenhouse growers have used it for years as a surface sterilizer, like between crops, when they want to just clean out their greenhouses. But it also is, and it's only gonna kill those tubes that are out there right then. It's not gonna have any residual, but it could just help cut down on the population, which, I think we need to rethink what it means to have clean berries.
And the breathing tubes are for the eggs, right?
Right.
So it would
Once they
stop the
hatch.
eggs, so the egg wouldn't
Wouldn't hatch.
theoretically turn into a larva, so then you wouldn't
Exactly.
see
Right.
anything.
Right, and even I've seen, like, where that egg hatches, you'd almost, like, I was at first thinking, well, if the egg's laid, that's it, it's gonna break down, it's gonna decompose right around that egg. It doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to matter that there's eggs there. It's when the larvae start growing and chewing, and that's when the mess occurs.
So that other thing you mentioned, oxide.
Oxidate, O-X-I-date.
Is that something that people growing organically, not that we'd even mentioned that in this country, it seems like that's not even an option, we're just really discussing to me personally, not
Yeah.
to other people. But that would be something that you could use oxidate.
Yes, yeah.
What is oxidate?
It's like, it's
It's
hydrogen peroxide,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what it is chemically, it's
Yeah.
hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like that would be safe to spray, right?
Right, but if you really, the eggs can hatch, some people say 2 hours, but maybe that's just optimum conditions, but 12 hours. If you really
Yeah.
wanted to keep your berries free,
You could
you'd be
hydrogen
spraying
peroxide on
daily.
twice a day.
Yeah,
I see.
it's kind of silly.
How about those cups, where can we get those cups?
Those are just red Solo cups that come in grocery store, and it
Okay.
doesn't matter all that much. We mostly wanted to have a standard trap, and there's been all this sort of research looking at what's the best trap. Doesn't matter all that much, but the red cups do seem to work pretty well, and 1/8 of an inch hole, and maybe even a little bit smaller, but a 1/16 of an inch doesn't work very well.
Costco's have red
Yeah,
cups.
but then they don't always have lids, and so I
Right, that's
forget
what I
somebody.
found. I found some with lids, but they weren't red.
I used
Okay.
the
Check Amazon.
plastic bag.
What's that?
Plastic
Oh,
Amazon.com
bag
has
plastic bag on top.
with an elastic around it, and then I
Yeah, I did traps, I did like 70
Okay.
traps for a neighbor.
Okay, that worked out well. I've heard other people say that, like Starbucks
some
or
of my
places that
Blueberry
have
wine.
drink cups,
Yeah.
that those lids will fit, so
Cider
if you can,
vinegar.
because you don't need very many, and they held
Yeah,
up
maybe
all
that's what we should
season
do for the
long.
spring,
So
to
unless you're doing the
try.
60 to 100, but anyway, maybe you can pick up some lids, like maybe the McDonald's or the Dunkin' Donut lids would also fit on top.
They did.
Did they? Yeah.
Why do you have the holes on the sides and not the top?
Well, the top,
Keep the
because
water
the
out.
rain gets in.
Okay.
So, and then, but you also, you wanna have enough room so you have bait at the bottom, so you wanna start the holes, a few inches up. And then also you wanna have the holes not on some surface so that you can pour liquid in and out of there. So if you have the holes all the way around, then you're gonna pour it out and you just make a gooky mess. So to have one area without holes is a
How
good
big a
thing.
hole do you make?
An eighth of an inch, or maybe even a little bit smaller. So somebody was telling me this week at the meeting that because an eighth of an inch, it's like, still yellow jackets and flies can get in there, so a little bit smaller hole would be better. And he was finding that there's things called, apple punches so if you have a big apple orchard and you have your growers, you have your pickers coming in and you go and punch their card to say, okay, you've picked another, bushel or bin of apples. So anyway, there's something called an apple punch that I haven't looked into that has a little bit smaller hole that was even keeping out more stuff, so that you're only getting fruit flies going
I've
in.
used Coke bottles to the clear
Yeah.
bottles and just leave, that's got the cap on it, pour the stuff in, put a couple of holes in it, like you say, leave a place that you can pour it from, put a string around it and tie it in the middle of the tree, and that works.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter too much, just
No,
what the
it doesn't
traps
seem
look
to,
like.
they said red
But-
cups, and I thought, what's the difference? I've been using that for years and I'm catching things, so.
But it's just a matter if you're trying to catch that first fly that's out there, it might be best to have the best kind of trap and the best bait also. And so I want to try, a little bit more using the yeast in those little containers. And maybe that kind of floated around in the cup, and so maybe kind of finding some weighted containers, I don't know, there's gotta be something out there, and that you can just quickly change in, put in a new yeast solution. And especially if you wanted to try and trap them out, you wanna have the most effective trap and bait that you would hang out there. So, I feel, I hate this insect, and I feel so bad for blueberry growers, and also homeowners that I've been telling for years, because they wanna grow apple trees, they wanna grow peach trees, and I say, grow blueberries, grow raspberries, you can do them a lot easier than you can that as well. Those days are over, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's a real shame. I was just gonna say, they have found some parasites that have attacked them, but some native wasps that will come and attack the pupae of the spider-wing Drosophila, but I just don't, the way the numbers just go out of sight, I just can't imagine another insect, a parasitoid keeping up with them. I'm not very hopeful about that. But there are a lot of people working. I mean, this is attacking the whole, well, it's not the whole country, but any place that there's a serious berry growing, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, out in Michigan, it's a huge problem. There's a lot of people working on it. Yeah.
The insect originates from Japan, China. Is it going through the roof there as well, or is there a predator out there?
They spray a whole lot. This is what I understand, that even though it's native to out there, and they probably have more things attacking them, that the commercial growers do a heck of a lot of spraying, is what I hear. And, yeah.
And they
That seems
send
be
it
the
to
only
us,
thing.
so they don't care. Well, it's
Yeah,
good for the
I'm
Americans.
just sort of amazed that it took, why we didn't get it before, like what has happened? Like there's been trade for
The Republicans
decades
did
and
it.
decades. You just start wondering, I don't know, but yeah, that was in Hawaii for how many years? I mean, how many people bring fruit from Hawaii to the mainland? I know they're probably not supposed to, but it's just sort of surprising.
It travels in crates and boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do quite well.
yeah.
They don't like low humidity, they don't like high heat either, but still, you would think that they would have gotten here.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're here now, so I guess that's thinking about that.
Now, this is gonna be devastating, there must be tons of resources going into solving this problem.
There are, but not as many as you'd wish for. Like, so some people in Michigan you apply for grants, you try and get grant money to do research to support things, and a big, huge grant was denied, a USDA grant was denied, because they said, well, California's working on that, so but California's problems, it's very different in California. They don't have the humidity that we have. It's not a great problem at all there, and really, it's not as nearly as big a problem, and so, yeah, I mean, I think we do get, we're getting some support, but we certainly need more. Also, somebody was saying, well, in order to get real good research support, you need to have a lot of public support. Well, the last thing we want is all the public knowing all about this and saying, yes, you need to do something. They'll just, stop buying blueberries or.
Well, did the commercial growers, the big growers from New Jersey lose money at all this year?
Not yet, but
Not yet?
they did a lot of spraying.
They did a lot of spraying.
They did a lot of spraying, because they saw it firsthand.